CRT and Total Soup secrets. Order blocks. What are order blocks? What does order block gotta do with CRT and Total Soup? What is order block? Nicknamed the tool of the market maker. Now, a order block, as you guys know, for a CRT trader, is going to be considered as a number one CISD, CSD, order block, whatever, right? At the end of the day, it's the same thing. It's just branding, right? You can name it whatever you want. The concept I figured out, which is just the concept is basically having enough liquidity pool to reverse. It's just and valid high, valid low. I can name it whatever I want. He may have his own name. He already has his own name, which is enough liquidity pool to reverse, right? That's his own name, right? I can name whatever I want. But the concept stays the same. The logic to the concept, the context to the concept, the pattern to the concept, the time it happens to the concept matters. Those you can't name it, right? You have to follow the rules on those. You can't just be like, well, you just can't brand that, right? There's no way around it. You have to follow it in order for it to be considered what it is, right? Now, there's multiple topics we're talking about. We're going to talk about what does the market maker got to do with order blocks? Why do people nickname order blocks basically the tool for the market makers? Basically, it's one of the best tools. It actually is, right? Order blocks, model one, CISD, change of state delivery. When we're trading CRT, our confirmation is an order block. Our confirmation is a thick candle that proves the CRT high, CRT low. Once we get a closure above it or below it, we confirmed a potential reversal, a high likelihood of reversal. A order block is the same thing, right? So that's what's very important. When you trade Total Soup, actually, when you trade Total Soup, an order block above an old high or below an old low equals a high probability Total Soup. Now, there's a lot of intricacies in it, right? It's not just that. It must happen the right time, must have a context and logic, and you must go with the high different drawn liquidity in order for it to be considered a high probability. And that's one of the best Total Soup model entries. If you just trade that, you can catch killer to the pip, to the tick entry and instant no drawdown, right? Now, when you wait for the confirmation of the model one of the order block, you will see usually choppy, slow, and market usually goes deep into the order block. What is an order block? Now is the next part, right? What is an order block? Real quick, before we talk about what's the next step, what is an order block? Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, share, join the Telegram link in the description below, and make sure you guys follow my IG and my TikTok. Now, an order block is a range, right? As you guys know, we always range, trend, range, trend, range, trend, range. That's all we do. We do nothing but that. Now, the market maker models, the smart money, they don't buy in a trend. Neither do they buy in the trend. Neither do they buy in a range. They buy in a specific time of the range. As we all know, market makers, they move according to time. The international bank, the central bank, the whatever bank, I don't care who they are. All I know, they move according to time. So these order block, when they happen during a specific time, is much more important. As you guys know, an order block is just in a range, right? It's a order block. It's just a range that gets retested. That's all it is. Now, when you're trading CRT, when I'm trading a CRT, this is eventually going to turn into an order block. And when it turns to an order block, it's going to get retested, right? That's what the market maker do. Now, where does the market maker accumulate? So he buys the range, but during a specific time, they buy at the manipulation. So if market makers are selling a CRT short, let's say a range high short, or they're selling in a short position, they're not going to sell anywhere around here. They're going to sell at the extreme points. Now, because then the market maker, they could have to the pip to the tick entries. We don't know how to get it because I myself, there will be no such time where you're gonna have lucky chances where you have to the pip to the tick entries. Basically, you're basically going to have the best entry, right? Zero drawdown, type of entries goes away, right? Now that's to the pip to the tick entry, right? But that's very rare. That happens. I only had one trade in my whole career of trading happen one time. And after that never happened, right? The market maker can do that, but I don't care about that. I care about one thing, that these auto block give me a chance of getting near it. I don't care if I get to the pip to the tick, but I do know the auto blocks offer me a heck ton of RR, which it does. Auto block are the best entry models for turtle soup, if you didn't know. Now, fake double top, fake double bottom could work, but there is no predetermined stop loss. So where are you gonna put your stop loss? Auto block already determines it, right? That's why it's considered. A fair value gap determines it, but a fair value gap, the stop loss is on a third candle, and a third candle sometimes it's not going to be on a failure swing or a protected area, so you can get souped out, right? So that's why the market makers use it, right? That's what that's what this order block is. Now the next step is, says the market makers move according to time. They move, since they move according to time. What else? What is there about that's interesting about order block that makes order block such a unique concept? Which is literally, if you just trade order block, I mean, I don't suggest you trade order block. You should trade everything, right? Not everything specific, but it should be free willed, right? You should know everything, but be master at one, right? But what does order block gotta do with CRT and total soup? I already said before. Is the model 1, the CRT state of delivery. Now, sometimes you guys see the model 1 happen at the CRT, and you will see the candle accumulate at the model 1. What does that mean? What does that mean to an individual? That means the market makers are accumulating, right? They're not accumulating a very large position, but they are accumulating in that specific price point, right? Because a 15-minute model 1 is not going to move the market, right? A 15-minute fair value gap is not going to move the market. But what they do know, they could start adding up a little more position. What they do now, one more thing that auto block is very useful, as you guys know, auto blocks are ranges that gets broken out of and get retested. Ranges gets refilled. Ranges get retested. So that's the auto block. Now, what does market maker do more with the auto block? One more thing they gotta do with it is that they signal to other smart money, because they have to signal each other in order for it to make a move. So they start signaling at each other that, okay, we had this model 1 confirmation, so before we reverse to the downside, you might need to tap this. So it signals to other smart money, who could be me, you, right? But we're retails. People are like, fuck, you don't move the market. Yes, I know we don't, but what we do is we copy it, right? We know over time, I've seen this happen for the past 30, 40 years. So this concept works. Oh yeah, I mean, this is how the market moves on, right? If you check the media, that's how they move. So this is how I like to work out in our favor also. Now, keep in mind, us retail traders, we make 5% of the liquidity globally, right? So us globally, everybody combined, our liquidity is probably like couple billion, or couple 50 billion, 100 billion, 100 billion, 300 billion, right? 400 billion, right? That's low, right? There's $1 trillion a day that goes into the market every single day. Now that's not from fucking retails. That's primarily from the institutional, the market makers, right? Because market makers, they don't usually tend to work together. If they work together, it's gonna be untradeable. So what they do is they signal to each other, okay, the highest place, we're gonna retest this range before we go down lower. So when we go up higher, start selling downwards, right? But they signal each other, SMT, right? SMT signals that, okay, the low is potentially placed here, so we're going to start reversing, right? So they signal to each other that a reversal is going to occur. Now, as you can see, beautiful concept. I'm like, well, this is not an order block. This is the order block. One thing, now this is where we're gonna get into the order block itself, right? So Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, share, join the Telegram, and yeah. But now, one thing I gotta tell you guys is that's the overall context of what an order block is. What does the market gotta do with it, and why it's useful for CRT and total soup. Now we're gonna get into the chart, right? I want to make it very clarified. I don't want to make you guys confused, right? Now, what else do we have here? Now let's go to the chart. Let's see. Let's have to get to my mind. Lock in. All right. This right here is an order block. How is this an order block? Like a random bearish candle. How is that order block? Now, as I said, the market was according to time. So we're looking for time-based order block, time-based, you know, CRT, right? That's how, you know, when we're trading CRT, we're primarily looking for time-based, right? This CRT was time-based. How come? Friday reversal, right? And Friday, if Thursday or Friday, consolidation reversal is tend to be Thursday half the week or Thursday or Thursday low of the week. Sometimes it could be Friday, right? That's where the consolidation candle. So time, right? So we're looking for specific order blocks. We're now, you know, now we're going to, when we talk about order block, there's multiple order blocks, right? But I want to, like, you're confused now. Like, okay, so what order block does the market maker use? They use time-based, and they use order blocks that purge a range or that purge a old high or old low. They do not use an order block that refilled liquidity. They do not use an order block that what else? That filled a fair value gap. They primarily use order blocks that soup out a range or soup out an old high or old low. In this case, going like, well, this order block worked out, but if you're gonna short down here, you're gonna take a loss. You're gonna take a loss, possibly another loss, right? Before going your way. So as you guys know, we as a trader, we focus on the I must take that setup, which is very high quality setups, right? We don't focus on low quality setups. So we try our best to avoid it, right? I avoid it all the time. This week, unfortunately, I faced it, but he didn't go on a loss. He went to a win, but I'm not gonna talk about it, right? He went to break even. I'm not gonna say, oh yeah, but you hear my take profit, I should have gotten out, right? Enough of that, right? But there are multiple types of order block, right? This is right here is an order block that filled another order block that purged liquidity. This right here is a real order block. That's why it worked out in our favor, right? But there's gonna be times, it's multiple order blocks, right? Everywhere is order block, right? This right here is an order block that filled that unfair value gap. There's multiple order blocks, and we're looking for a specific one that's price based, right? And not that the one I just talked about is price based. That present an old high or old low, or what? CRT ranges, right? Now this third one we're looking for, you have to has two of them, right? You're always gonna have two of them. The third one is time, right? You need to have specific time. In this case, our CRT is not this candle, it's specifically this candle, and our order block is not this candle, it's specifically this candle. How come is it not this? How come this is not CRT? Time, right? If Thursday doesn't manipulate, it's highly likely going to be Wednesday. So Tuesday is going to be accumulation, Wednesday is going to be manipulation, and Thursday is going to be expansion, right? So time. Same with the order block. Now this may look like this is not an order block, it's a bearish candle. Now it may not look like it on the EU, but DXY looks clearly like an order block, right? It even got me confused at first, but keep in mind, what is the word currency? Dollar, right? And the general rule of thumb is you always, this is the biggest mistake. This right here, this mistake costed me a lot of money. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it cost me a lot of money. Shout out to Uni for this, right? I was finding, I was like, man, I'm looking that dollar always shows me better signs than EU. And I always think, okay, lower time frame always trade EU because, you know, the dollar has different type of candles. I don't like the gaps on the list, that's that, right? I made a lot of excuses. What I learned was that the dollar is much more important than DXY. Actually, you should only be analyzing DXY and trading EU, right? Analyze DXY, trade EU. Don't even analyze EU. Just primarily analyze DXY. Now, guess why, right? and you should always try DXY more. This is one problem I'm still facing because I'm like, gotta look at 2 pairs constantly, right? I'm always trying to stick to 1 pair, but this is a very important pair, right? This literally I per myself should be only focusing on this, right? And you just use EU for SMT and just execute, right? But the general thumb is to always prioritize DXY over EU. So if DXY says this, but DXY says this, we always try DXY, right? Now, that's the general thumb, right? And from now on forward, I've been doing this, but I learned we still make a little mistakes of being human, right? But I'll never let it happen again. I will always trust DXY more than EU. I will never ever backstab, right? I have to be loyal. So, and EU on DXY, I mean, it's a order block, but on what? On EU, it's not an order block, right? And EU is a bearish candle, while on DXY is a bullish candle. For a bullish, it needs to be bearish. For the order block, for bearish, it needs to be bullish, right? So on EU is bearish, but we don't care about it because this on DXY tells us this is the Wednesday candle is the CRT, is the order block, right? Now that's why the market reversed here, had SMT with it, then reversed, right? That's what it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday didn't deliver, and Friday did. Now, people are like, well, since they had SMT, why didn't they wait for the candle to end? You told us that. That's only during daily ranges, right? So that's why. Now, this right here is an order block, right? Keep in mind. Now, that's number one. You can see how this perfectly got traded too. Oh, like, well, you already got traded too with you already closed below it on EU. So there's SMT already. But keep in mind, you always trust DXY more than EU, and DXY never closed above it. Now it did close above the body, but we don't care about the body. We need full candle closure. Close above higher prices, close below lower prices, right? We're not looking for wicks. We're looking primarily for close above, close belows, right? That's all we're looking for. So on DXY, it didn't tap it, right? In DXY, during the time it tapped the order block, it was when the order block never got confirmed on DXY, so it's not valid, right? So you need to get retraded too. Again, because last week I was literally thinking about this. I was like, this order block needs to get retraded too. I mean, this literally on Sunday, I was like, this order block looks like it needs to get retraded too. I was like, okay, but I made an excuse, man. I said face problem, but I'll never face problem again. We always gotta be wise. We always gotta learn, right? I faced a problem. I made an excuse like, oh, he's already filled, so he's already SMT, so we're cool. But he's why I said otherwise. And the reason why it didn't get SMT down or it didn't get filled during that time was because when when EU filled it back in and it closed below it, it did what? DXY didn't confirm it, so it was not an order block, right? Yet, so that's why is that problem, right? So I eventually knew, okay, reason I thought I had SMT, but during the time you tapped it, when you filled it, it never got confirmed on DXY. So that's example number one. That's an order block. Now, how come it's an order block? You pressed out CRT, and it pressed out during the Pacific time. So you pressed out a range, and it happened during Pacific time. Because ranges can be retested, right? Trend range. Right there, market makers are selling around in this candle, usually at the high of the candle, right? Eventually selling off from there on forward. Now, another example, you could see it again. What's another example? Point it out. It's right by it. Again, this one right here. Now this one gets filled, right? This one gets filled, right? This one gets filled right afterward, right? So the Friday candle versus the Thursday candle excuse my profanity language and it's my slang language. I will never speak like that again, right? I'm always trying to catch myself. Thursday accumulation, Friday manipulation, and Monday expansion. And Thursday accumulated manipulated, I mean. So it needs to get retested. Right? So he left a range there. So you can see that he perfectly tapped it. And you can see how deliberately it did not tap the order block, right? Now this happened on Tuesday. Tuesday, right? Now on Monday is when the order block got confirmed, right? And Monday is when the order block got confirmed. So if we were to tap it, we're like, okay, I sent you, okay, cool, you're cool, you're cool, cool. But you never tapped it on the correlated asset. So there was no SMT. Just tapped the other CRT range. Now this confirmed it, but we're like, well, you already retested the range, so we should be good, right? No. This range needs to get refilled again. Why? Because usually these type of order blocks, they never get left out. They never get left out for some reason, right? I do see some other order blocks get left out, like the one that fills liquidity, right? They get left out, but this one never gets left out. So I always see it get refilled, right? Now this concept, the way I learned this concept, and that's I give credit where it's due. Oni, right? Shout out to him. He got it, right? He got it. I personally myself, I found this, like, you know, as you guys know, time unites all. I found this out myself, but Uni made it way more clear, right? He said a lower time frame breaker is a higher time frame order block. I was like, oh shit, he's right. Lower time frame was a breaker. Oh, right? He was right, and I was wrong. So I you know, yeah, we were both right, but the way he explained it made it much more clear, right? So at the end of the day, I'll give credit to him because he made it much more clear to me. He made actually save me money, right? Because I had a time where I took a long before a daily CRT and I got wrecked. Which one was it? This one right over here. I took a long over here, and Monday I took a long before he tapped the order block, and I literally got stopped out. I literally just went through my entry. I was like, okay, wow, is my box wrong? When we think it, market reverse right afterward, right? Because the range needs to be tested. Somehow, these never get left out. And the concept, the way this order block works is whenever there's an order block that per CRT or per old high or old low, and it's above, keep in mind, above a daily CRT or below daily CRT in above time frame, right? We're only looking for daily CRT and above, you know, daily key levels and above. And when it's above a daily CRT, I only trade. I made this rule, I think 2 months ago. Only trade when the daily order block gets tapped. This is to avoid lower time frame manipulation, because I got slaughtered from that trade, right? Because you just win my stop loss. I lost way more than I tend to lose. I lost so much, right? Because when you're wrong, right, the counter just ripped, right? So I was like, cool, nice, lesson learned, right? That's all I could do. I can't blame somebody else. I have to. This is why I like this business. I have to blame myself, not somebody else. That's why I could play soccer. I was a very good soccer player, right? I just didn't like it. I was a very good I mean MMA, you can't be really, you know, there's no teammate, right? It's only you and the opponent. That's why I like MMA and boxing and all of these that are 1-to-1 instead of the 12 people, 12v12. Because when I used to play soccer, I used to always blame somebody else for that mistake that we used to lose the game. I'll blame somebody else. In this case, when I lose the game, who do I gotta blame? All right, me, nobody else. So that's why I like this game more than anything else. It's not a game; it's a business, right? It feeds me. That's what I like. Okay, let me lock in. Oh my! I told you guys I gotta start with the slang language. I'm not gonna have it no more. Okay. Yeah, lock in. Okay, so that's that. Now let me show you guys more example of the order block. Now you can see how this one, they never get left out. They always get retested. So you can see this one get repurged, you get retested. Eventually, it rarely happens. So you could have taken this short. I don't think this high will get repurged. I don't think it will get repurged. It shouldn't be getting repurged. It should just be going down because that's already a deep OTE, right? So let me show you guys another example. Another example would be. There's multiple examples, right? You can point it out right now. Another example would be this case. how come this order block, right, this candle right here pressed out an old high, and I did not make this as an example. Why? The only time I make these order blocks as an example is when they did not get retested, and there's an CRT, or yeah, there's a CRT above them or below them, and the CRT high gets burst, then it has the order block, then reverses. We're looking just something like this, right? CRT above this order block is tapped, and eventually reversal, right? That's what we're looking for. Now I think on DXY it looks much different, right? You see on DXY it's also a bullish candle. So our CRT is this candle, right? I'm pretty sure, right? So they look different on each other pair, right? They look kind of fucking different. But you can see your CRT could be your auto block could be this candle, right? Because this is the candle, this candle over here also. But you can see when you tap this candle, it does MT with it, right? So regardless, it taps it, right? Sometimes I do get confused by myself, right? So yeah, I mean it happens, but I will never say this again. I will always learn, right? I repeat this word because it's positive. So let me show you guys more example, right? Now the reason why I didn't make this as an example, that's why the reason I'm not talking about this, because there's not a daily CRT below it, and the daily CRT in the order block cannot get contested before it, right? That's why. Let me show you guys more examples that are beautiful examples, which would be what's another good example? This right here, this also is a good example. Yeah, Wednesday accumulation, there's a manipulation, right? Close above it. Right, here's another good example, right? Now, how come it's an order block? Specific time, Wednesday accumulation, Thursday, Wednesday accumulation, Thursday manipulation. How comes a specific? How does the order block? Once again, it purges out a range, right? Range. We don't care about this fucking fair value gap. We care about that it purges out a range, right? So let me show you guys my example. Look at the example right over here. Now this one, you can see that when the order block got tapped, it never caused a reversal. There was a reversal here, by the way. The reversal, I took it straight to the upside. I only made 6 RR because the market is way past the CRT range. It's highly not gonna is a breakthrough, right? It's not gonna respect it. So we just go target the percent mark of the range that was traded of the Pacific day, and you get out the next day looking for trades on forward. How comes this CRT? Pacific time, Tuesday accumulation, Wednesday manipulation, mid reversal, right? And also is above a daily CRT. I mean below a daily CRT, which if you were to long this high, and if you were to long this high right over here, you are going to get wrecked. Why? Once again, why you get wrecked? Because there's an daily order block right below it, which means you need to get recontested again. An order block like this, they always get recontested. And one more thing is that, what was the thing I was going to talk about? It says this way past CRT range is not going to respect it because, way past it, it's a breakthrough. So just wait for the next candle, look for the same thing here again, right? So Tuesday accumulation, right? Wednesday manipulation, eventually expansions. Once it closes above it, now we don't really care about this order block anymore we don't care about this order block for manipulation anymore. Why? Because the reason I primarily use these order blocks are for manipulations, right? To avoid manipulation, to avoid getting manipulated, right? That's all I use it for. So in this case, I'm not worrying. I'm not gonna go enter a trade out of this daily order block because you see, if it's long here, I'd have been wrecked. Along here, I would have been wrecked. This here, for a long. Okay, I'm cool, but I can't just wait for its time to long it up, right? Without doing that, without going through the hassle. Now another example right here, right? Tapped it, reversed, or you can see this scanner over here also tapped it or SMT with it, and eventually reversed. But you see, since they never get left out, they will get refilled. And SMT is a thing that it will make it get left out. But you gotta keep in mind that the CRT. What the fuck was I say? There's something goes in my mind right now, right? It's not good. Is that SMT will prevent it, right? But since in this case, it definitely did make sense to go downward. That during that specific week before reversing, definitely did make sense to go back down here, right? Because I said again, the drawn look was overall bearish during that specific half of the week. Retracements. Another example would be this will be another good example, right? This more during Pacific time also, and with that Pacific time, we had a full candle closure below it, but I didn't take the trade by itself because why did I not take it by itself? The reasoning is that it was not above a daily CRT, so I did not take it. You can see you got recontested, right? Our CRT is overall our order block is this candle. This the accumulation, right? Our order block is the accumulation. Taps it, boom, retested the range, reverse from there on forward, right? Now it gets retested again, but this time it does not get purged, and we purge at the alt high. Another example would be right over here. In this case, you can see you get recontested and cause a reversal, but you would have not taken it short because you're going to we're going against the higher time frame draw on liquidity. Now let me show you guys more example. An example would be this right over here, purge at the old low, gets recontested, and goes away from there, right? These are the topic of the order block. It's a very long topic, so make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, share, join the Telegram link in the description below, and I hope you can enjoy it. Make sure you guys follow my other socials. I did have some other things I want to say, but you can see me stuttering a little bit, thinking about something and missing some words. What I mean by missing some words is like, I'm out of the fucking screen, right? So out of the there's no locking in, right? So that's gonna happen again. I have full focus. But yeah, I'll see you guys inside the Telegram. See you guys inside there. Peace out.